Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video. This is my weird and terrifying Tinder story. True. I lived in a shitty house off campus. The rent was cheap and deservedly so. I guess it was better than nothing. Better than sharing a dorm. Plus, it was kind of cool to have my own place. The yard was small and bare except for a lot of big bushes. Tall grass, but shit. I never felt like mowing the lawn, especially in the winter. Scott's Liquors was also within 50 feet of one of my one-story, one-bedroom house. The school within walking distance, so yeah, I was set. There was one more week until Christmas break here at Stanwick State University. I was cruising along to my English degree at what I considered to be a community college masquerading as a 4-year school. I had already turned in my final papers just a few days ago, so I was done with the semester before most of everybody else. One more year and I'd be done with my school entirely. And honestly, I was gonna miss this place. Yeah, I was a Stanwick lifer, but the school was fun, people were nice and friendly, expectations not too ridiculous, and I had my house. My mom and dad lived in town, but still. It was different having my own shitty home. No matter how bad or drafty or hot or messy it got, I was still at Jamal Pleasant's house, all mine. On this Wednesday night, I was just chilling at home. I had nowhere to go, nowhere to be. I'd already gotten a couple of 30 packs over at Scott's. It was too cold to do much else. Even in South Georgia, the weather could still reach a brutal cold this time of year, especially considering how close we were to the Flint River. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, but had a few close friends. They were fellow losers like me. They did their best to keep me from getting too isolated at the house. I gotta say, they made college fun. They made Stanwick State a blast. We'd been watching YouTube videos on the flat screen and drinking all night like any other night, really. The kitchen connected to the living room, making those beer runs all more easier for us. All of us were 23, a little older than some of the other students on campus. I would say older than most, but Stanwick State seemed to be exclusively non-target, non-traditional students, for whatever reason. And I mean non-traditional as they could get pretty fucking old. The three of us were pretty handsome, if not the prototype for Stanwick State's social hierarchy. There was me, of course, the neurotic crime writer. Like I said, I made good grades, and that could have been great, and I had tried more. Needless to say, I wasn't doing anything extracurricular. I liked watching movies and writing. Sure, I'd gotten lucky every now and then meeting girls and having drunken hookups, but fuck, I was awkward. A guy like me who hasn't a smooth talker or excessively handsome had no chance on campus. At least, not at Stanwick State. So my solace came with my writing, and yeah, hanging out with my two friends. There was Rashid. He currently sat in the recliner, stoned and drunk, and he was a little better with the girls than I was. I thought the fact that he looked like Chris Brown helped. Then again, some girls avoided him like the plague because I guess it was so blessing and a curse, but still much more traditionally sexy than a childish Gambino look-alike, such as I. Rashid was a failed rapper turned poet. The boy had serious ambitions. I gotta say, he had some cool ideas too. When he was fucking motivated, I think his crazy ass spent more time playing video games in my living room than writing lines. Sitting next to me on the couch was the weirdo of the bunch, Patrick. He was white but woke. And I mean woke as in John Brown woke. The guy'd rant all the time and get angry all the time. I think he hated white people. Either way, Patrick had passion, and he was cool if weird as fuck. Needless to say, he got laid less than me. Strange considering his unconventionally handsome. Then, again, he was always posting his dick pics on Reddit and showing girls online all the time. A real exhibitionist. He had some Reddit fame as well for some crazy incident where someone tried to kill him earlier this year. Like I said, a real weirdo like me. And to an extent, like Rashid, we three creative outsiders. I guess you could call us hipsters, but that term almost seems too mainstream for us. I likened us to get a geekier Rat Pack better. Around 8, we got tired of watching music videos and movie countdowns. I could just tell by the way everyone was up on their phones. Rashid was basically on his own recliner island at this point, texting and smoking a J. I too was on my phone, my 6 Miller Light of the Night in my other hand. Patrick kept rumbling on the classic horror movies. The guy came alive at night like a spastic vampire. I could have sworn he'd been drinking coffee rather than cheap beer. Naturally, I turned him out. Like Rassid and I always been up when we got really drunk. My eyes stayed glued to my phone, glued to Tinder. Yeah, I couldn't help myself. Male companionship only got me so far, especially when I was hammed. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Patrick, put on Dementia 13, an old classic we'd only seen about 1 to 15 times. I had to, bro, Patrick yelled out, his voice fueled by drunken enthusiasm. He became an overexcited Tarantino when he mixed horror with the booze, but I wasn't listening to him, or watching the opening credits for that matter. I had my eyes on a girl. After swiping on endless women, I finally had a match. Not just a match, but a local 20-year-old who went to Stanwix State. Fucking jackpot. Hello, Shannon, I thought. Her profile pic alone captivated me. She had big eyes and a big smile. Her quirkiness intrigued me as well. The quick bio mentioned an interest in music. Her wardrobe and style made that clear enough. She was definitely the punk rock type. Zoe Kravitz with the 80s fashion. I liked it. And this was just off one fucking pic. Right before I could check out Shannon's other pics, a hand snatched my shoulder. I leaped back like a jump scare and reached out the screen to grab me. Hey man, you watching it? Patrick's overexcited, deep voice asked me. I yanked my arm back. Nah, bro, we've already seen it. Annoyed, I turned my focus back to what interested me more than this 1963 movie. Shannon. Alright, whatever, Patrick looked back at the flat screen. Your loss. I scrolled through the rest of Shannon's pretty pictures. We've already seen it. One of Shannon's pictures stood out in particular. A Halloween pic of her wearing a mannequin mask. A plastic female mannequin mask, complete with a distorted smile. In the photo, she wore leggings and a cape. Great body for sure. But that mask was creepy as fuck. More Marilyn Monroe than Kiss. Amidst the movie's freaky soundtrack, I heard Rassid's phone vibrate. I looked over to see Rassid stare at his phone. His concentration revealed me. His fingers typed up a reply in frenetic fashion, like he was an iPhone slave. My phone buzzed. Intrigued, I checked my Tinder. A December miracle had happened, something I wasn't familiar with at all. A girl had sent me the first message. Not just one of those awkward or meek girls on here looking for attention either. I mean, motherfucking Shannon had messaged me. Sup, sexy? She had a smiley face at the end. Wow. I kept my composure as best as I could. She had to be a spammer. But what if she wasn't? Fueled by lust and curiosity, I sent Shannon a reply. Nothing, just chillin'. Y'all making me watch this movie by myself? A belligerent Patrick asked. You done watched this shit 1 billion times, I heard Rassid tell him. Grinning, I faced Patrick. Yeah, I like it, but you picked the same shit. To my surprise, Patrick was immersed in his phone as well. Dude looked like he was typing up a novel. Oh well, we were millennials after all. Not like I didn't enjoy their company when we were just sitting around on our phones. It's a classic, dude, Patrick replied while texting. I smirked at the sight, Rassid over there doing the same. Such intense texters. A vibration brought me back to my Tinder crush. Shannon had sent another message. Just checking you out. Nice pics, boo. My smile grew bigger. And from there, Shannon and I continued flirting, and no, she never once asked me for a credit card number or social security digits. Addicted to this chat, I lost track of Rassid and Patrick. I heard their phones go off in quick succession over the few minutes. In addition to the steady rhythm of their fingers, all of the noises formed one big technology-driven melody. And all the while, Coppola's Dementia 13 kept playing in the background. I glanced up just in one time to see a groundskeeper get decapitated. Still a great sequence. I couldn't watch for too long, though, not with Shannon constantly drawing me back in. We traded compliments and phone numbers. Shannon told me she thought the campus party scene was pretty lame, too, that she added that she might change now that she met me. Okay, I was getting excited. Yo, Jamal, Rassid said. I looked up from my phone to see Rassid walking up to me. Hey, I gotta get going, Rassid told me. This early, Patrick said. Yeah, bro, Rassid said. He flashed us a beaming smile. We knew what time it was. You got a girl, I asked him. Still holding his phone, Patrick leaned in closer like a friend leaning in from the back seat. Yeah, who is she? I ain't telling y'all, man, Ross had told us. His phone erupted with another vibration, with the anticipation of a kid Christmas morning. He checked the text. She's fine as fuck, though. Like a compulsion, Ross had got to work texting a reply. Normally, I'd want him here all night, but tonight was going to be less lonely. At the very least. Shannon was going to make it less boring. Alright, well be careful, I said to Rossett. Yeah, bro, Patrick added. You sure you can walk straight, I quipped. Yeah, man, an agitated Rossett responded, as if I was interfering with his concentration on the hooked up. She must be at the college, Patrick said. Nah, I ain't saying, Rossett said. He sent the text. I'll see y'all, man. He fist bumped each of us before heading toward the front door. Put on some new goddamn movies next time, too, he told Patrick. Chuckling, Patrick held up his hands. Hey, you can't go wrong with the classics, bro. Rashid laughed. Find some classics, then. Right then, he opened the door. I heard Rashid's phone buzz once more. Like an invading army, cold air swooped in. Shivering, I looked to see Rashid responding to another text as he closed the door behind him. Maybe she'll have friends, Patrick joked. He turned his attention to the back of his phone. I'd never seen him this disinterested in watching one of his favorite flicks before, even on his sex-crazy nights. Yet there he was, texting away to somebody. Apparently. My phone vibrated. I looked down to see several of Shannon's messages awaiting my excited gaze like unopened Christmas gifts. I couldn't help but smile. Shannon just kept telling me how hot I was and how crazy it was she hadn't seen me around the campus before. I told her I was a bit antisocial, the isolated writer type. I wasn't exactly ever invited to go out to the Landing or any of the other local bars. But she didn't care. She loved horror movies too. And above all, Shannon seemed genuinely interested in me. My talents, my interests. Ditto, I would tell her. I mean, shit, she did soundtracks for students' films. How sick is that? Of course, we still sexted, and yeah, her body was sweet. As Dominion 13 reached its wild finale, I noticed Patrick wasn't saying shit. Hell, I'm not even sure if he ever looked up from his phone. He just slouched back on the couch, his green eyes not glued to the flat screen but to his phone screen. I heard the steady vibrations erupt off his phone, and his fingers continued typing. Maybe it was just one of his sexting rampages, or maybe he found a chick too. Was that Rat Pack all gonna get lucky tonight? For once I kind of wanted to hear Patrick's voice, just to know how if he was still alive. Hey, who you talking to? I asked. Patrick smiled at me. A girl? Whoa. Aw, fuck you, man, Patrick chuckled. I gave him a light shove. Nah, it's about time you get laid. Ditto, my man, Patrick polished off his 8th beer in one swig. What could I say? He was right. We both needed to get some. I looked back at my phone just in time to see Shannon's fresh text. I'm coming over. Where you at, baby? All kinds of possibilities swirled through my excited mind. I took a sip of my 10th beer. The buzz was hitting me hard, as was the adrenaline rush I got from Shannon. While I heard Patrick's frantic fingers working overtime, I sent Shannon my address. Get here when you can, I teased. She gave me a quick reply. I'm coming over now. An emoji blowing a kiss ordered in the message. Holy shit, I thought. This is really happening. Even right now, I'm still too embarrassed to tell you the last time I'd gotten laid up to that point. I finished my beer, preparing myself like a football player on a Sunday morning. I let out a drunken war cry. Patrick gave me a weird look. You alright? Alarmed, I looked at my friend. Fuck, what was I gonna do with him? What? Patrick chuckled. Dramatic music pulled my attention over to the TV. Dimensions 13 end credits stared back at me. Then Patrick's loud typing hit me. I looked over to see Patrick send another text. He looked comfy on that couch, and judging by the many empty long necks resting at his feet, I knew something was else. The motherfucker was drunk. Patrick's phone vibrated again. I saw his smile get bigger and goofier as he read his latest text. Damn, Patrick, I thought. I loved having him here 95% of the time, especially at night, but this wasn't one of those lonely nights. My phone buzzed, me back to my tantalizing plans, and there, of course, was another text from Shannon. On the way, sexy. You better be ready, just me and you. God damn it, Patrick. Restless, I looked at him. He was too busy texting to notice my stern stare. I kept my glare on him for a moment for what seemed like an eternity. Oblivious, he finished his novel and sent it. Patrick, I finally said, not even trying to hide my agitation. With a goofy grin plastered on his face, Patrick looked at me. Yeah, what's up? I waved at the TV. Bye now. The screen was black to the YouTube's homepage. The movie's over. Patrick glanced at it. Oh yeah. Trying to be the great best friend I usually was, I nodded. Well, if you don't mind, I think I might need some alone time. Quicker than Sinatra following after a dame, Patrick leaped off the couch. Oh shit, I gotcha. Yeah, I said with a smile. I'm not trying to cock-block, dude. Staggering the door, he knocked over a few of his empty long necks. Shit, my bad. With drunken clumsiness, he stooped down and started pulling the bottles on a coffee table. Sorry, man. Nah, you're fine, I reassured him. I helped him pick up the long necks. God, he needed the help. His drunken grasp kept dropping almost every bottle. Fuck, my bad, bro. Patrick went on, his voice weak and slow with intoxicated glory. I got it. Standing back up, Patrick retrieved the car keys from his pocket. I'm not the biggest fan of bros before hoes, but this was one of my best friends. If he was this smashed, I couldn't let him leave on a suicide mission. Bros before whatever the hell Shannon was, I figured. I stood and grabbed Patrick's shoulder. Hey, if you just want to, stay in the bedroom, we'll figure it out. Dismissive, Patrick waved his hands. Nah, man, I ain't gonna do that to you. He took his phone out of his pocket. You sure? Yeah, bro, don't worry about it. For once, Patrick broke away from me and stumbled over toward the door. The man was eager to leave. Jesus, I usually could never get him to leave. It was like he co-owned the house without ever paying. Not that I minded since he was my boy, like a security blanket on those lonely nights when I was here by myself. I gave Patrick a sly smile. You got a girl too? Chuckling, Patrick stopped at the door and faced me. Yeah, His phone vibrated, interrupting him. Full of drunken vigor, he read the text. That's awesome, man, I said. I patted Patrick on the back. Yeah, bro, getting laid, an enthusiastic Patrick said. He responded to the text message. Easily the fastest I'd ever seen him reply to a text. The motherfucker didn't respond to me for hours sometimes. The American dream, I said with that. I opened the door and led Patrick out on the front porch. Shivering, I jammed my hands in my pockets. I felt my phone vibrate again. Sorry, Shannon. Bros before Tinder dream girls. I'll text you tomorrow, Patrick told me. He walked down the porch stairs in a slow, cautious steps, at least. He wasn't being too reckless. All right, bro, I said to him. Just be careful. Stopping a few feet away from me, the confident Patrick faced me, his omnipresent shit-eating grin all on display. Yeah, man. Call me if you need anything. If you need help, whatever. I got you, dude. All right. Pulling my jacket in tighter, I gazed around the yard. Yeah, it was a small property, but it was dark. Then again, there wasn't too many streetlights out here, and Scott's Liquors had closed for an hour ago. A couple of my neighbors had their Christmas lights and decorations on, just a few smiling snowmen and a jolly St. Nick, but that was about it. Combined with desolation, the heavy wind made me feel like I was in a graveyard, only I wasn't. I was home. I heard Patrick get work on another text. Damn, it's cold, he said. I grinned at him. Yeah, well, be safe, bro. Eager to escape the freezing weather, I started to head back. Hey, Jamal, I heard Patrick drunken yell. Stopping in the doorway, I turned in and faced him. Patrick gave me a sly finger gun gesture. Good luck, my man. I smirked. You too, bro. With that, I went back inside and closed the door. Maybe I was leaving Patrick in the cold, but he had a damn car and a girl. He'd be just fine. Just like Rashid and hopefully just like me. Inside, the house was quiet. No music or movies were on. No loud drunks were talking or texting. If my yard was a cemetery, this felt like a funeral home. And damn if I didn't feel like a hermit in here. I glanced out a living room window and saw Patrick still texting in my yard. Oh well, at least he wouldn't get a DUI on the front lawn. Nor would he get a texting while driving ticket when he wasn't, driving. Hopefully his girl would pick his drunk ass up. A ferocious vibration brought me back to the task at hand. Shannon. She'd sent me several more texts. Shannon said she'd be running late, but she'd be here. Real soon. My body surging with excitement, I scanned the living room. The place was a fucking mess. Thanks a lot, guys. In less than 10 minutes, I had a room clean. Well, clean enough. The bottles and cans overpopulated the garbage can, and a fresh blanket covered my stained couch. I jammed all my stray clothes in the closet. I also dug through my avalanche of hangers to find the best t-shirt and cargo pants. Rushing more than a girl on prom night, I changed into this fresh outfit. In a race against time, I put on deodorant, cologne, freshened up my hair. I brushed my teeth for good measure. I looked nice. Yeah, I was awkward as shit and an alienated writer, but I could be hot when I tried. All the while, Shannon kept sending me texts here and there. Last I heard, she was a couple of blocks away. I told her I could pick her up, but she said she lived on campus and enjoyed the walk. She was a night owl like me, I suppose. Damn, maybe we really were made for each other. In the living room, I put on a 2000s indie rock playlist, something neutral for the Stanwyck State crowd. The Strokes, Foster the People, etc. Anxious, I went back to our text messages, me and Shannon's first conversations, our love for horror movies, her interest in my crime stories. And yeah, I looked at our sexts too. Those big boobs would grab anyone. Man. But most of all, she just looked natural. Not like a stick figure or fake-ass Instagram model. I mean, don't get me wrong, she looked hot, just not generic. Like, she didn't give a shit what others thought of her. Average weight, pretty face. Not only was it awesome, but at least it quashed my fears of she was catfishing, 70-year-old woman or scammer. Before I could go through some of the other pics, a new message from Shannon graced my screen. I'm here. The anticipation overwhelmed me. I trembled like a kid about to get on their first roller coaster. I looked over at the front door when another vibration drew my attention. Shannon's last message. Come outside. Her grinning bitmoji arrived right after it. The weather may have been frightful, but Shannon's cuteness warmed me up enough to, face the cold. I threw on my hoodie and stepped out into the cool December air. The chilling wind battered me like rain. Shivering, I closed the door. I couldn't see shit in the darkness. All my neighbors had turned off their lights for the night. Their Christmas lights and decorations were off too. No one left those on a night until after the semester was over. Clutching my phone, I could see my breath in the air. It was too cold to even talk. My hands frozen to my phone, I typed my next text to Shannon at an ultra-slow pace. Where are you? Eager to meet this mysterious Tinder beauty, I walked into my front yard. Or better yet, I stumbled around in my drunken stupor. I realized I had no chance in this darkness. I turned my iPhone's flashlight for help. Though the small light, I saw nothing on my lawn. Like a cautious explorer, I walked toward the backyard. I took slow, steady steps. I didn't want to fall in front of Shannon, if she was even back here. Shannon, I said aloud. Folding my arms in a weak attempt to stay warm, I sent her another text. Hey, are you out here? I felt my foot scrunch something in the high grass. A beam of light erupted beneath me. Startled, I looked down at the glowing iPhone screen. Only something was covering most of the screen, like water or dirt. What the fuck? I picked it up, nervous. A thick substance stuck to my hand like paint. Red paint. To my horror, I saw blood all over the screen. Normally, I'd drop it in an instant, but in the cold, the blood felt like water quickly freezing. The iPhone felt glued to my trembling hand. Not only that, but my nervous eyes recognized the iPhone home screen. A picture of me and Patrick and Merced. One of our bromance photos, and one of Patrick's faves. Scared, I glanced around the yard, but saw nothing. I wiped some blood off of Patrick's phone, where I saw he had a few notifications. Maybe I was being nosy, but I had to know what happened to my friend. His blood was literally on my hand, for God's sakes. And there was so many texts. All to this one girl he'd been messaging to. The messages were filthy. Patrick moved fast, and yes, he'd sent her a collection of his dick pics. As impressive as it was, eyes gravitated to her sex as well. They were the same ones I'd gotten from Shannon. There was Shannon's hot body, her big boobs. The girl's phone number was all too familiar. The uncomfortable cold I felt turning into discomforting fear. I looked back at my phone, at my cherished contact, Shannon. My heart sank, my spirit shattered by overwhelming terror. I already knew the answer, but still I looked back at Patrick's phone. The phone numbers were identical. Him and Shannon had been talking all night. Frantic, I scrolled down to the end of their conversation. Panic collided into fear. I read where Patrick had told her my address. He said he might be too drunk to drive. Then the last text Shannon sent Patrick gave me chills. Even in the cold. "I'll meet you there, boo." My phone buzzed with life, scaring the shit out of me. I jumped back, dropping Patrick's iPhone. A new text from Shannon greeted me. Nervous, I stole another look around the yard. I didn't see anything. Then again, it was too dark to see much besides the large bushes. I went back to Shannon's latest text, a video message. My deep breathing, heavy breathing, hit the cold air. Full of dread, I mashed play. The screen filled with a close-up of Patrick's horrified face. There he was, lying on the ground, a large cut on his head leaking blood. "No!" I heard him cry out. Then a frenzy of stabs hit his face. Fast hits, but not fast enough for me to see that gloved hand holding a long hunting knife. Filled with sadness and horror, I watched the murder play on. Blood erupted over the camera. Patrick's screams and cries became drowned out by all the flowing blood. His face, nothing more than flayed flesh. Redness splashed all across the high grass. My lawn was now red and green for the holidays. "Patrick," I said in a terrifying whimper. "Fuck." I felt the tears slide down my face, the tears so painful in the cold. On the video, the murderer sunk the knife right into Patrick's eye, the kill shot. "God," I said. Patrick's head hit the ground, his face nothing but red slices. The knife handle stuck out of his eyeball like a victory flag. Saddened, I tried to wipe away the tears. Almost impossible in the cold, especially when more tears kept pouring from my eyes. The video ended with the killer turning the camera to face her, and judging by her unique mask, I knew the killer was Shannon. The grinning mannequin mask just looked right into the camera like Shannon was singling me out. And then, with the quickness of evaporation, the video ended. I was back in my text messages. During the torture I felt watching the disturbing video, I hadn't noticed Shannon's latest text. "Do you see me?" Her winking bitmoji soon followed. In a panic, I staggered back. Amidst the tears and terror, I felt woozy and disoriented, like I had a pitfall trap. I stumbled into one of the bushes. Floundering like a helpless animal, I felt along the shrubbery. Then I made contact with cold skin. Fresh blood, another bright light erupted near my hand. Screaming, I leaped off the bush. My horrified eyes stared onto the grisly sight. Positioned like an art exhibit, Rassed's corpse was sprawled on the bush. Deep stab wounds were all over his chest. Ferocious stab wounds. I could see organs peeking out like hidden items in a ripped package. Rassed's insides were now on the outside. More tears slid down my face. Deep breathings flowed from my mouth like chimney smoke. I felt even colder, like the red stains drenching my clothes were starting to give me hypothermia. Rassed's phone was still glowing near his dead hand. He had a few missed calls, all of them from a same contact. Hot-ass weird Tinder girl. I didn't even have to check the number to know who she was. My eyes drifted over to one of the bushes. Patrick's corpse also sprawled across it. His face hacked beyond belief in this weather. Both he and Rassid would resemble frozen cadavers at some point, like frozen yard ornaments for my house. "No," I said. "Oh, fuck." My phone came to life with another vibration. Terrified, I checked it. A new message from Shannon. "I see you." I heard harsh footsteps stomping the tall grass behind me. Thick drops echoed toward me. Frightened, I whirled around. Hurtling out of darkness like a javelin, the long knife stabbed straight into my abdomen. Cringing in pain, I cried out. I saw the gloved hand let go of the weapon. I clutched the knife and handle and felt the blood ooze from my fingertips. Like cold spring water, it iced me to the bone. My heavy breathing intensifying, I fell down on one knee. I looked up in horror, and there stood Shannon. She wore her Halloween outfit, the leggings, the cape, the mannequin mask's unforgiving smile. More blood trickled through my drenched hand. The cold wind and sharp pain paralyzed me to that very spot. I couldn't move. All I could do was stare at the killer at her mercy. Taunting me, Shannon leaned down right in front of me. So I I thought the masked plastic mouth was gonna rip out a chunk of my flesh. Inches away from my lips, she came to a stoic stop. I couldn't move. I couldn't even say a word or scream. Shannon lifted up the bottom of the mask. I looked at her red lips, shocked. Then she gave me a tender kiss. "I'll see you later, beautiful," she reassured me in a soft tone, a pretty voice that disguised sadistic pleasure. A smile crossed her lips. She was having fun, just toying with me. With that, Shannon put the mask back on and stood up like a victorious general. Still clutching my wound, I yelled out in pain. I wanted to call her a cunt, a bitch, a twat. I wanted to call her all of it, but I couldn't. I quivered in the cold, my drunken state now imbued with the pain of getting fucking stabbed. Behind uneasy, I watched Shannon reach into her hoodie pocket. My tears weren't going away. Both my tears of pain and sadness over seeing what was left of my best friends, my only friends. With the indifference of the solicit tossing $1 to a bum, Shannon threw her phone right in front of me. The off-brand piece of shit splashed through the blood-stained weeds like a spotlight. Its glowing screen further illuminated my nasty wound. Shielding my eyes from the bright screen, I turned away and let a tormented yell. But when I looked back, Shannon was gone. Like a ghost. She'd vanished into the cold December night. In a pathetic search, I shined on my iPhone all around the yard. I would never find shit, not at this point. Shannon was long gone, and her final taunt, she'd left me her fucking burner phone. Right now, I couldn't even crawl into warmth, and when I tried, I just fell over like a helpless toddler. Lying in the blood-soaked grass, my frigid fingers moved a little glacier pace, but after an eternity, I finally managed to type in 911. I called the police. Moments later, I was taken to the hospital. Thank God for living in a small town. If the ambulances hadn't come sooner, I might have died out there with my boys. Then again, maybe I should have. Maybe I didn't deserve to be the lucky one. The police recovered the burner phone Shannon left on my lawn. No real personal info was on it other than all her texts. Oh yeah, and her Tinder account. Outside of my friends and I, it turned out she'd talked in a shitload of guys on there. Several of them had been murdered over the last few months, and in her phone gallery were dozens of pics and videos of her killing each and every one of them, all while wearing that fucking mask. That bitch had trapping us all along. She was the match from hell. Once I recovered in the hospital, I did my best to get back to my normal life. Well, about as normal as I could, given the circumstances. I moved out of that house. No way I could stay there. Not with the memories of me, Patrick, and Rossett's epic nights. I could never go to that small yard the same way either. The high grass and bushes were a graveyard for those memories. I ended up graduating from Stanwick State a year later. I'm living with my folks now, working part-time in a soulless internet job. The large scar forever on my abdomen. The scars of losing my best friends forever lodged deep in my mind. God knows I think about our time together every day and late at night. I cry thinking about my weirdo friends. Everyone else can relive these college moments and memories with their old friends and buddies, but I can't, and I never will. I plan on moving out soon. I need to move out. Not as a way to escape the pain and memories that'll never go away, but just out of fear. You see, the police never caught Shannon. She's still out there somewhere. I don't know, maybe her name wasn't even Shannon. Maybe those pictures weren't even her, who knows. Maybe she's back on Tinder or this other dating app. I try to avoid those things now, and when I do indulge, it's the only when I'm at my loneliest and most vulnerable. But even being as careful as I am, there's still that lingering fear in the back of my mind. "I'll see you later, beautiful." The sincerity of her soft voice has always stuck with me. Shannon's gentle, confident voice, like the call of a psychopathic siren. Rather than a farewell, Shannon's words were like a promise, and Shannon seemed like the type who always kept her promise. This is the end of story 1. All credit goes to the person that wrote the story. RHONNIE14. Thank you guys for tuning into my first YouTube video. This is one of many. I know it was a long one. It's definitely something that I want to continue, are scary stories like this. Please subscribe. what else? I know I need to buy a microphone because I'm pretty sure you probably could hear some footsteps in the background of reading this. But again, thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or night. And this has been a Dead Nightmare. Peace.